I'm Josh Liston from On the Bubble podcast, an oral history of television fandom, part of the Gonna Geek network, just like the show you're checking out now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other awesome geeky shows at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
Talk hard and enjoy the mindgasm. The intellectual podcast starts now.
That's right. The intellectual podcast starts right now. I'm your host, David Dawson, and joining me all the way in San Diego is
Whitney. Hi.
Hey, Whit.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm in Pensacola, Florida. So
yeah, on the other side of the country. Really?
Feels like the other side of the world.
I bet. What is the temperature like there in Pensacola, Florida?
Well, I've been driving across the country. I'm heading to Jacksonville for some shows, and so I've literally done the gamut of weather. From it was really nice in San Diego when I left. It was pretty nice in Arizona when I was there for a week for a gig, and then I've had rain, I've had sleet. It's been really, really cold, but today, coming through Mississippi and Alabama, and I'm in the panhandle of Florida now. The weather is sunny and clear, and I think it was in the like mid 60s today. So today's nice.
That's not bad. It's really nice here too. Like I think 70, maybe 71. Went out on a bike ride earlier. That was really nice. So
well, that's good. I don't remember the last time I rode a bike.
Really?
Yeah. I have a bike. I have a beach cruiser. I think it's just rusting on the side of my house.
Oh, no. I just took my bike into the shop and had them, do all the tune-up and maintenance and everything at the Ye Olde Bike Shop, which is over near the college. Really, really good little bike shop. They did a great job.
Yeah.
But for some reason recently, I've been doing a lot of stuff that's like, hey, haven't done that in a while. For my birthday, I went roller skating, which I don't roller skate often at all. Like, I think I did it once, maybe a year or two ago. And then prior to that, like grade school. It was a lot of fun, though.
So what you're saying is all this stuff you're doing is a result of you getting older. And so you're trying to like reach back and reclaim your childhood.
Well, no, I mean, I've always had a bicycle, so I don't think that counts. I used to, whenever I lived in LA, I would bike down to the beach like every Sunday. That was church for me. No matter what was going on, I'm like, Sunday morning, I'm biking down to the beach and chilling on the beach. It was great.
By the way, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you
I unfortunately was unable to attend your birthday festivities because I've been on the road, but I followed with enthusiastic interest on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. You missed out on a good time. It was 80s themed and everybody dressed up.
Yeah, Mike Peterson wore shorts that were just a little bit too small, I think.
Those were some short shorts. It's a really good thing that he didn't fall in the split position because those shorts would have been gone.
Hey, I should mention, speaking of ages and stuff, this is the first episode of season 6 of the Intellectual Podcast. I can't believe it.
Intellectual's 6 years old. Woo!
Yeah. I mean, technically the birthday was back in November, but for simplicity's sake, I'm shifting the seasons to the start of the year.
Yeah, that makes sense. New year, new season.
But
don't need to complicate things.
Well, and we didn't do a ton of episodes last season, so it's okay. But we're going to do a lot more content this year. That's the goal.
Well, yeah, I mean, now we have a way to do it, even whenever you're, hundreds of miles away. So that's good.
That's really good, considering the fact that between here and San Diego Film Week in mid-April, I'm only going to be in San Diego for 16 days total.
That's insane. And when you are in town, you're going to be very, very busy because you have a lot of irons in the fire.
I do. Intellectual's gearing up to hopefully produce our first feature film this year. So we're putting all the pieces together for that. So I'll be working on that every time I'm in town. And on a I don't want to say negative, but on a kind of downer note with a positive slant, we're doing a telethon for our friend Derek Johnston on March 16th to help raise money to help him fight stage 4 non-clear cell kidney cancer, which he's been battling since October 2016. And we've got a really big group of people together working on that. And we're going to do a 12-hour live stream from the Voice and Video Studios in Kearney Mesa and from the Comedy Palace, also in that Kearney Mesa area. And
that's going to be quite a large collection of people who are contributing and going to be a part of that. So.
Yeah. We're working on getting comedians together and bands, and Chase Masterson from Star Trek Deep Space Nine is going to be helping us try and bring some interesting people down from her sphere of influence as well. I'm also really excited that she's a part of it because she runs a really successful nonprofit called Pop Hero Coalition, which battles against anti-bullying for children. But she knows how to get the message out, so I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be a really fun show. A lot of moving parts, a lot of really talented people who are on board currently to put it together. And hopefully we can do some amazing things for our buddy Derek.
A good show for a great cause.
Yeah. 2019, the year of intellectually doing good.
That's a really good, what is that? Like a resolution for 2019? Can a podcast have a resolution?
Sure. Why not?
Okay. All right. The podcast resolution is doing good in 2019.
Yeah. Well, and, there's been some discussions between me and the kind of upper level producing team on this telethon that, depending on how well this goes, we may be interested in kind of developing it out into an annual event, for future people who need help, potentially creating a new nonprofit or whatever. So, I'm excited.
For various
excited to see how it all turns out. Yeah. So, I think it'd be good to have a positive thing that we work on all the time. So hopefully this goes well and turns into something that we like to do. And, I don't know. I feel good about helping out and doing something positive for somebody who deserves some help, Well,
and it's always good to be charitable, considering as abrasive as our society has been recently, I think everybody could afford to be a little more charitable. It's good for the soul.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So be on the lookout for more information on the telethon. It's going to be called Jumpstart a Life. We will have more information on that in the next couple of weeks as more pieces of it start to come together. But we've got a logo, we've got a website, all that stuff starting to come together. So I'm really looking forward to getting people the information over the next few weeks as it starts to come out.
That's great, David. You guys have been busy.
Yeah. There was something else I wanted to talk about, and I just totally went up. Oh,
charities.
This has nothing to do with charity. This is completely self-promotion. So you remember I played Yoda last year, right?
Yeah.
So and
it did really well, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I had a chance to talk about it on the podcast or not since it happened, but we Ray's little film, Star Wars: The Toys Awaken, took Best Stop Motion Animated Film and Spirit of Star Wars at the Star Wars Fan Film Awards on StarWars.com.
Congratulations.
That's voice awesome. As Yoda was heard twice on the Star Wars show, Lucasfilm's official Star Wars weekly program on YouTube.
Wow.
So I'm super stoked. It's just awesome. And it's going to be playing at Azure Lorica in Pasadena, where it's nominated for, I think, Best Fan Film and I think Best Direction as well for Ray.
Okay, so you're going to have to educate me. What is Azure Lorca?
Azure Lorca is a fan film festival in Pasadena in February. And
is it all Star Wars or just like any fan film?
It's any fan film. So there's various types of fan films. There is another Star Wars film from San Diego in that festival, by the way. Star Wars: The Dark Resurgence, starring our friends Kayla Sweet and Chris Szabo. So congratulations to them. They were both in our film Toss
That's
Aside.
awesome.
And they're both nominated for Best Actor and Best Actress at that festival as well. So, huge, huge
congratulations to them.
And then Star Wars: The Toys Awaken will be playing in Toronto at the Toronto Fan Film Fest. I want to say the second week of February. So a lot of stuff going there. And I know the film got accepted into this like kind of big conglomeration of Comic Cons. So I believe it'll be playing at Long Beach Comic Con this spring as well. And then a whole bunch of other Comic Cons, and I'll let people know as I know the specifics. But yeah, it's really exciting. Like, there's so much stuff.
So wow, the next few months are probably going to consist of you going to a lot of Comic Cons.
God, I hope so. I just want to sit at a signing table, like just once. Like, that'd be amazing.
Hey, I mean, everything else that you've talked about wanting to do, it's slowly but surely. Like last year, you were on a panel for Comic-Con, so I feel like the more you talk about it, the more it happens.
Yeah. They announced the dates for SD WhoCon, I think today.
Oh yeah.
In October this year.
Nice.
So hopefully they'll invite
Isn't
us back for
Gallifrey 1 going on?
Gallifrey 1
right around now?
Happens in like a week, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, soonish.
Yeah. I heard.
I keep seeing posts.
Heard John Barrowman's going to be there, and Catherine Tate.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be willing to go for that. I mean,
unfortunately, I don't think there's any tickets left. Gallifrey 1's really hard to get into. They're kind of like Comic-Con on a very small scale. So they only let in, they only sell enough tickets to fill their main hall. So you never, like, it's not a huge horde of people like at Comic-Con. There's just a very specific set number of tickets that get sold, and they don't want the convention to get any bigger than that. They want to keep it smaller and intimate, which is part of what makes it really great to go to. The times that I've gone to Gallifrey 1 have just been amazing. But man, if you're not like...
Oh, so you've gotten to go before.
Yeah, if you're not right on top of getting in, it can be tough to get in. So
okay, I have to share with our audience real quick, like our little weird interaction over John Barrowman. So I did not get into Doctor Who for a very long time, despite David like trying to prompt me. And then we actually helped host San Diego WhoCon this past year. And so I had to...
And we did a reader's theater there, which was amazing. Just saying.
Well, so I had to like just watch a ton of Doctor Who. Like I think from September. Well, I mean, I got all the way up to Matt Smith's season before we went to the San Diego WhoCon. And then I finished it out in December and got all the way up to Jodie Whittaker's season and like watched all of it. I watched over like 140 hours of Doctor Who in the span of 2.5, 3 months, something like that. It's a huge amount.
Amazing.
Yeah, a lot of Doctor Who. But the thing is, like last year, I think it was at Comic-Con, you were talking about, you and Steve were like, oh, we're going to go see John Barrowman. And you were getting like all fanboy about it. And I had no idea. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then I watched the show and I'm like, oh, okay, yes, no, I would go to that. And I would, He is very charming. We'll say charming. That seems like the nicer way of putting that.
Yeah. His panels at any convention are just the best, like absolutely the best. And they're usually his panels are called John Barrowman Anything Goes. and his relationship with an audience is just incredible. Like to have the kind of command of a throng of people the way he does is just kind of unreal. I'm always in awe.
I mean, he's quite dynamic and, you know, not hard on the eyes. So he's got two really good things going for him right there.
Yeah. And
we should see about having him on the show.
You know, it shouldn't be impossible. He lives in Palm Springs. So, you know, I just got to figure out how to. We
promise we won't fanboy and fangirl on you too much.
Oh, no, he loves that. That'd be fine.
Okay.
But yeah, no. So yeah, a lot of things happening. I hope that SD Hukon invites us back to do another Readers Theater, because that was probably one of my favorite experiences from last year.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And I think we need to just kind of do it anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah, even if we don't do it there, I feel like there would be an audience for that here, even if we, I don't know, went to Writers Inc. or, you know, somewhere where we just rented a space here in town. Like, there are people who would come watch.
Yeah, and we've got a plethora of writers that we know who could write us some brilliant scripts to read. So, yeah, definitely one of those things I want to look at doing this year as well. So, as if I don't have enough on my plate, you know.
Yeah, right. Like, go ahead. You just want to add to it. Sure. So, okay, we were talking a little bit about, you know, you have a lot of films that are going to festivals and you've got some awards and stuff. And of course, it is a award season. And today the Oscar nominations came out. What are your thoughts on the nominations thus far?
Well, I've only had a chance to kind of cursory look at them, and we will definitely be doing a full episode on the Oscar nominations in the next couple of weeks with our good friend Ali Lennox. It's become a bit of an annual tradition, so I don't want to overstep too hard on that stuff. But I'm pleased to say that I've seen more than one of the Best Picture nominees, which is good.
I've seen a whole of two. I'm not doing so great over here.
I saw A Star Is Born, which I think is just fantastic. Bradley Cooper did an amazing job with that film. Bohemian Rhapsody, which is just super enjoyable, although I don't know that I would ever believe that it's actually in the running to win.
Yeah.
And Black Panther, which I think is just, no matter what, it's just incredibly cool to see a superhero movie up for Best Picture. That just does my nerd.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Right? I also think it's really cool. So Green Book is in for Best Picture. And the neat part of that is that one of the actors in that film is actually acted here in San Diego for a good long while.
Yeah, we're going to have to try and get him on.
Yeah, Dmitry Marinov. He actually used to work over at Mystery Cafe. If you've ever been there, it's like over near Balboa Park. And they do the whodunits while you have dinner.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's really neat.
Lead actor, lead actress, Bradley Cooper again, I think is incredible. Christian Bale in Vice. I've only seen the trailer, but oh my God. He's indistinguishable from Dick Cheney. Like, it's
right. Isn't it creepy? Well, that's like Willem Dafoe with the At Eternity's Gate. Like he is, oh my gosh, my brain just totally died on me. He's supposed to be Van Gogh, and he actually looks quite a bit like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rami Malek did a good job as Freddie Mercury. And, you know, Viggo Mortensen's always really solid. Green Book's trailer looked amazing. I just haven't had a chance to see it yet. Definitely want to catch it before the Oscars roll around, though. On the lead actress side of things, the only one of those performances I've seen is Lady Gaga in A Star Is Born. And she's incredibly good in that movie.
So, man, you have a lot of catching up to do before we do our Oscar episode.
Yeah, that's usually the case.
Yeah, I do too. It's cool. I'm really interested in this. Can You Ever Forgive Me? Like, I hadn't even heard of that movie, and then literally this morning, because they did the announcements, it's been popping up, and like advertisements saying it's an Oscar-nominated film and everything. Have you heard anything about this movie?
I saw the nominations for it and I went, What is that?
Yeah, it looks interesting. And I love the fact that Melissa McCarthy has such range in her roles. I did watch St. Vincent that she did with Bill Murray, and I thought that was a great movie. So if it's in that vein, I would probably really enjoy it.
Cool. Yeah, director, I have not seen any of the 5 films that have Best Director noms. Yeah. So, animated feature, Incredibles 2, Isle of Dogs, Mirai, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I don't know, man. I love Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
A lot of people really enjoyed that, and it had I haven't seen it yet, but everybody's told me that it was really enjoyable, and not just like as a cartoon, like kids do enjoy it, but adults really can enjoy it as well.
Yeah, so. I mean, it's a really well-written film, and then it has all the superhero trappings, which is wonderful. It totally pays tribute to like all these different iterations of Spider-Man through the kind of generations. It's amazing what they did on that movie, really. I've seen it in the theaters 3 times.
Oh,
now.
Wow.
And I want to go see it again. It's part of the reason why I haven't seen all these other movies is like Spider-Man just like kind of took over my life for the last month. But yeah, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Ralph Breaks the Internet is also a lot of fun. And Incredibles 2 is also a lot of fun. But Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is it was a bit of a revelation. Plus the animation style in that movie is so cool.
Yeah.
And because it's the first comic book adaptation to film that looks like a damn comic book came to life. The way they handled like blurs and gradients and stuff is totally like what you saw in the comic books. So kind of off, out of sync blues and reds and stuff to create
texture,
the effect of texture and blur, and half toning and stuff to create the gradients instead of just a straightforward gradient. So it looks like there was a physical process to this 3D animation that is completely reminiscent of classic comic book styles. And it's just incredible really what they did.
Yeah, honestly, like I feel bad. I haven't seen very many movies at all this entire year. I've just been...
Well, you've been busy making movies.
Yes, that too. But my tendency is whenever I have time to watch something, it's off of Netflix, But one thing I am really interested in going to see, and I might see it tonight or tomorrow night, is Glass just opened up. What are your thoughts there?
Look, I wrote M. Night off a long time ago. I think he's a complete hack. Well, not a complete hack. Look, he's a very capable technical director who has gotten completely lost in the Kool-Aid of the myth of who M. Night is that was created in the 1 or 2 films he did that were decent in the late 90s, early 2000s. And he's been unable to pull himself out of his own ass long enough to make a movie that's decent.
Wow. What about, did you not like Split whenever that came out?
I didn't see Split because I've already written the guy off.
See, I really enjoyed that one.
And then when I found out that he threw Unbreakable into the tail end of it to create a universe, which is, hey, look, it's M. Night with another twist. Yeah, just kind of over it. And, you know, I try not to put too much into the critics' reviews of stuff, generally speaking, having been a critical reviewer myself in the past. But damn, every review of that movie I've seen from the critics basically reiterates every shortcoming I've ever thought about M. Night. Every single person who's reviewed it basically says exactly what's in my head about this guy's career. And they say that this film basically returns him back to the joke of who he became after the promise of potentially redemption when he made Split.
Oh, wow. That's a bummer.
Now, I'm not saying that somebody else might enjoy the film. It's entirely possible. I know people who liked Lady in Water, the piece of garbage.
See, I didn't like that one.
It's totally cool. And they're okay. It's okay for somebody else to like it. I'm not saying they have to miss Glass if they want to go see it. Like, go see Glass. It's fine. If you enjoy it, that's fine. It gives me an idea what kind of moviegoer you are. And we're all good.
But see, did you like Unbreakable?
You know, I liked Unbreakable. I potentially at the time loved it, but, and the caveat has to be made, that was a different era in film. We didn't have the MCU at the time. There was only a handful of like major superhero films being made at the time. The comic book culture wasn't where it's at now, where we have amazing comic book creations coming out on an annual basis. So Unbreakable was kind of this fresh film that had a kind of honest take on comic book lore and bringing comic book style stories to the real world. And it was very cool, and it was very interesting, and it was very specifically enjoyable to that moment in time. That said, there's a lot of way better comic book movies being made these days than definitely. That movie was. So is that fair?
No, I think so. Yeah, I don't know. There's only been I liked Unbreakable. I liked Sixth Sense, although that got ruined for me by my uncle. He told me the ending like before I got to see the movie. So whatever.
Well, in the end, I think Sixth Sense is M. Night's pinnacle and his demise, because he's been trying to recreate that twist ending formula in everything he's written to direct ever since. And one reviewer I was reading recently said something that I think is really potent. M. Night needs to stop being a writer-director. He just needs to go to being a director and let somebody else write him stuff to direct.
That would be.
And I think that would be the best thing for him, because he is a very talented director. He has a very specific vision. He does have a technical expertise at making films that I think is very, very good. However, as a writer, I think he falls short more often than he hits a home run.
Well, it's usually it's the endings,
I think his writing's getting in the way.
Yeah,
because he's always looking for that twist.
Yeah, like
and you get to something like Signs.
Yes,
Signs' twist is ridiculously stupid.
Yeah,
why would any
alien come to
living creature that's allergic to water
come to a planet?
Earth?
Yeah, exactly. Drives me crazy.
I mean, the logic of that movie just completely falls apart. Never mind the precognition stuff with the mother. But the whole idea that an alien race would come attack our planet for resources when they're deathly allergic to water, and like, how do they even come into our atmosphere with, 60% humidity? Like, it just doesn't make any sense at all.
Their reconnaissance scouts would be so fired. No, you know the only thing that I took away from that movie that I like totally fully agree with? If you let water sit for too long, it starts to taste like dust. That's true.
Okay.
That's all I ever took away from that movie.
It's a lot of movie to take that away as the only takeaway.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So, and then like you get to the village and I was like 4 minutes into the village and I'm like, hey, this is like some like, I don't know, this is like an Amish community in the current world, you know, like I figured that out like right away because I knew he was going to pull some stupid twist and that had to be the twist. I mean, what would be the twist in that movie? So it just, by the time we got to the village, I was kind of done with him and I wrote it out for a couple more movies. And then I just said, that's it. I'm done. When I saw the film he did with Will Smith and Jaden Smith, and it's like Will Smith lost every ounce of character that he has. And I was like, only M. Night could turn Will Smith boring. So I'm done.
Yeah, I didn't watch that one. It looked a little painful.
It was very painful.
My sister made me watch the one where they're all trapped in an elevator, though. That was real bad. Devil? I think it's called Devil. She kept on telling me, mind you, she's younger than me, and she was like, oh, this is going to be a good horror film. It looks so good. I'm like, okay, all right, I'll sit down and watch this with you. At the end, I'm like, I can't get that time back. That was awful. And she's sitting here trying to argue. It was okay. I'm like, you can't even say it was good. You can say it was okay. It was awful. But Split was good. See, here's the weird thing. Again, my sister made me watch that movie. You would think after Devil, I would have gone, no, not going to do that. But she made me watch Split, and I'm like, okay, that's actually a decent movie. But I think what carried that is the lead actor is really like I could.
Well, and that's been the reviews I've heard from everybody is like, oh my gosh, James McAvoy's incredible. Yeah. And Bruce Willis shows up at the end. And that's pretty much the only thing anybody can tell me about Split is like, you got to see James McAvoy do all these different characters. And then Bruce Willis shows up at the end. And it's like,
yep.
Okay, well, what's the movie actually about? It doesn't matter. James McAvoy plays he's got all these personalities and he's incredible. Okay. So it's a really wonderful performance. What is the rest of the movie about? And most people can't even tell me what the film's about. They just remember James McAvoy's amazing.
Well, so it's about this idea that that a person would have split personalities can actually manifest physiological symptoms according to whatever their personality is. Like if their personality was hypoglycemic or something, or if that's basically the gist of it.
Oh, I think your husband's home.
I think he is. Hold on. Let's pause.
And while Whitney's away, I'll just fill in some time. I hope you all are having a wonderful January and that your 2019 is shaping up to be every bit as amazing as mine has started out to be. Yeah. What else is going on? Well, I've been driving. I've been seeing a lot of the country. I did get to see 3 friends from high school while I've been driving across the country, which has been kind of cool. One of them, my buddy Jason Blackman, I hadn't seen him since like 1992. So it's been like 25 plus years since I've seen him. So that was really nice to see Jason and his
long time.
Beautiful little family. Hi, Whit. You're
Hi.
back. I mean, just filling time.
I was never gone. It's just my dog gets really loud, so I didn't want people to have to suffer through that.
I think our listeners appreciated you muting during the dog.
I don't know if he's done. because John hasn't actually entered into the house yet. So there may be more. We have a Jack Russell, just in case. I guess nobody knows that because he's a newer dog. We got him back in September from the Humane Society, from Hearts of Gold shelter. Our other dog, our poodle, is from the Humane Society. But Jack Russells are psychotic. I love him to death, but like all of the tropes about Jack Russell is like he's loud, he's neurotic, he like has all this energy. He would be a great guard dog, except for the false positive rates on his barking. It's like, well, you bark at everything. I don't know if it's something that's going to kill me or like somebody bringing me flowers, so you're useless. But
that's funny.
We got him as a buddy for our poodle, who is painfully shy. And I have to say, I feel like it's paying off. The other day we were at the dog park, and the Jack Russell's name is Data, like the character from Star Trek, and then the poodle's name is Maurice. And there is another dog who's sort of posturing and like kicking dirt at Data, and Maurice actually ran in, barking and like ready to protect his adopted brother. So that's a huge step for a dog that literally like will tuck his tail and hide under a chair when other animals are around. So hey, it's working. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Very.
So what else is going on with you, Whit?
Oh man. Well, so I've started my new journey as being a full-time actor. So that's been interesting. I have a feature that should be premiering in March. And then what else? I've been auditioning a bunch, lots of driving up to LA. And Sunday, I had a really great audition out in Palm Springs for a short film. That the gist of the short film is a young lady brings her boyfriend home to meet her parents. And her boyfriend is a clown, and it doesn't go over so well. So I had this
always circling around clowns.
I know, right? So I went out and maybe it's because it's a clown film or I don't know. I had a great audition with them. It was fantastic. And then I found out on Monday that I actually booked the role. So I will be
awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I shoot that here in a couple weeks, beginning of February out in Palm Springs. And I'm going to have, I get to do a really cool photo shoot on Sunday, actually, which I get to use some of my cosplay and stuff because it's a superhero photo shoot.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What's that for?
I think it's mostly just for the photographer's portfolio. And for me, it's fun. For fun.
Nice.
And for my portfolio, I guess. Yeah. Maybe people will start seeing me as a superhero and I'll get cast in the next Marvel film. That'd be great.
There you go. And you're still looking for representation and stuff, right? Like,
yes, I am.
That part of the journey is complicated for everybody.
Yep.
Everybody I know who's ever gone out looking for representation has had a real bitch of a time.
It's not an easy process. And I mean, part of it is like, thankfully, I have some lovely fellow actor friends who have recommended me to the representation, which is amazingly kind of them and hugely appreciated. But the thing is, even with recommendations, it's still kind of a struggle because agents and managers, it seems like they have, and I guess this is maybe all of the Hollywood industry, they have certain presumptions about just the way you look or your age or things like that, to where I don't know. I don't really quite understand it because I guess it's the whole pigeonholing thing, right? Like they see you as a certain thing and that's what you're going to get cast as and that's that.
Right.
So it's been a struggle, especially whenever, they start asking me about my age and things like that. Because I don't think I look my age at all. And so they're usually shocked, and it changes their perception somehow. I'm like, well, I can totally play whatever you want. I'm an actor. What would you like me to be? So
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. Well, we're gonna keep putting it out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep putting it out there. Whitney's gonna have representation by the end of this year.
That would be great. That would be absolutely great. Yeah. I'd love to have an agent up in LA. That would be fantastic. I can make them money is the thing. And really, in Hollywood, isn't that the most important thing?
Sure. Depends on who you talk to. But yeah, I think definitely at that level, at the representation level, yeah, it's all about making money.
Well, yeah, I mean, so of the agents that I have talked with, that's been a major thing. It's like, okay, well, what is the package that you have crafted? Because it's fascinating when it comes to being an actor, and I'm sure this applies to other areas of the industry, but it's this idea that you are both the manufacturer of as well as the product. It's your own small business, but you're the thing you're selling.
Yeah.
So, and they want something that's easily packaged and explainable. What are you selling?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. What else is going on? Anything else?
Oh man. I had my birthday over the weekend. I got to go to Medieval Times, which is amazing.
Was that your first time?
Yeah, I've never been to Medieval Times before.
What did you think?
I really
What was your favorite part of the experience?
Taking pictures. I really enjoyed taking pictures with like the actors and stuff. Cause of course I wore a vintage 70s dress, but it definitely had the flair of being sort of medieval, like with the cuffs. And I like getting dressed up in costume. I'm an actor. So yeah, it was fun, like getting dressed up and taking pictures. And actually their food was really quite good too. You don't have utensils though, which is weird.
Well, no,
I was very
supposed to eat your stuff with your bare hands.
Well, yes, I get that, but
medieval times, just big chunks of food and vegetables and flesh in your hands, and just and you just maw it. No,
it grosses me out. Like, I mean, I literally I only ate with one hand because I wanted to keep the other hand clean, and I don't know. I don't like being sticky or greasy. I never have, even whenever I was a little kid. Like if I was covered in stickiness, I'm just like, oh God, someone please wash me. This is not okay.
Did anybody warn you ahead of time that that's the way that was?
No, because, John was going to go with me and he's never been there. So we didn't know.
I knew. I didn't tell you, but I knew.
Oh, I see. And then I had my 80s party, which was lots of fun, roller skating and stuff. And then on my actual birthday, I'm such an old person. I went around and got all my freebies for my birthday because not many people know this, but there's like 101 different birthday freebies that you can get if you so choose. Most of them are food related, like free Starbucks. Denny's gives you a free Grand Slam on your birthday. Let's see. Panera gives you dessert.
You need to write a list out, and we put it in the show notes.
Oh, I mean, literally, there's a link that you can, if you just type in birthday freebies, it'll pop up. Like, there's so many different links to this, different things that you can get. I went to like Victoria's Secret and Sephora, and got all the fun stuff free.
Nice. It
was great. I love doing that.
Well,
I know it's silly.
I recently got my schedule for May starting to shape up, and it looks like I won't be in town again for my birthday. So we'll have to figure out doing my birthday on a date that works for everybody.
Yeah, something fun for your birthday.
Woohoo!
Or everybody, goes to wherever you are out of town. Maybe it'll be Vegas.
San Antonio.
Cool.
I'll be in San Antonio, Texas.
I don't know if San Antonio is fun or not. If you've never been to
San Antonio, it's kind of a cool town. It's where the Alamo is.
Yeah. I have never been there, actually.
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe you can come out for my birthday. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that might be fun. That could be a lot of fun.
But so we're at right about 45 minutes. So I think it's time to start wrapping up the first episode of season 6. It's really good to talk to you, Whit.
It's good to talk to you too. This is a nice little recap on what we've been doing with our lives. So we haven't seen much of each other.
Yeah, well, people oftentimes will tell me how envious they am of the fact, or they are of the fact that I get to do all this traveling and see all the things that I get to see and stuff. But as much fun as all of that is, it also can get very lonely and I can get very homesick. And so having an opportunity to sit and chat with you for 45 minutes for the podcast is kind of a joy. I remember a point in time where I couldn't even talk to people when I was on the road. So, it's nice. Kind of helps make the world feel a little bit smaller, which is kind of cool.
Well, I'm glad we got to do the podcast.
Me too. Now, if I can just figure out how to get Mark Atkinson up and running to do it and Steve Schwartz to get up and running to do it, then maybe we can start doing more hostfuls this year, which would be great.
Next time. We'll figure it out.
We will keep working on the technology of the Intellectual Podcast in season 6. We're going to keep getting better and more consistent. I want to get back to being weekly. I don't want a week to go by anymore without a podcast. So that's the goal. That was the goal when we first started six years ago. 1 episode a week.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening and getting caught up with us. And we'll catch you next time.
All right. We'll talk soon.
Hello there, citizens. I am the terror that flaps in the night. I am the floaty that will not flush no matter how many times you try in the toilet bowl of crime. I am Darkwing Duck, telling you please, talk hard and enjoy the mindgasm. Whatever the heck that means. After all, you are watching Intellectual Podcast with your ears.